Welcome back. Ignore everything I said in the previous video. You want to know why? Because you didn't hear it. One of the benefits of having good friends is they text you and call you in the middle. Try to. You ignore their calls and texts and have to have another person come in the room, interrupt your feed just to let you know you have no audio. So we are back. And now I got to recap and remember everything that I said. It was so great if you could have heard it the first time. So, Sons of Issachar, where have we been? Here is my shirt. Who are we? What is the future of this channel? Hopefully we are actually live now. I'm going to be listening or pulling it up while talking. It's the wrong video. Make sure we're on. Okay, all right, we're live. Anyway, Sons of Issachar, why did I stop this channel? Why am I restarting this channel? Haven't you done this before, Jesse? Yes, yes, and yes. I before wanted to do a solely gaming stream channel to give teens and kids a place to watch a content creator, give them clean streaming, Christian perspective on things, all those kinds of things. Well, at that time, how busy I was, work environment, the setup that I had, everything was just, it would take me too long to do just one little video, one little stream, the setup, the cleanup, just to be able to get back to my everyday work. Now I have a studio, have everything kind of set up here. And so we are live and kicking, and and I'm going to go more live and just kind of off the cuff than I am pre-recorded, all that kind of stuff. So, Sons of Issachar, what does it mean? Well, in the Bible, Sons of Issachar were men who understood the times and how Israel ought to behave or, you know, live in its modern, that time, modern society. And so I want to emulate that here. I want to emulate the fact that we want to be Sons of Issachar. We want to, as Christians, understand our culture, understand the world we live in, though we may hate it. We may hate our culture. We may hate the world we live in, but we still need to live in it. And so where are people at? Where are people listening to content? Where are people watching videos? Where are your kids at? They're on YouTube, they're on Facebook, they're watching content creators, they're listening to podcasts, all those kinds of things. And so I'm very thankful for all the Christian podcasts that are out there that deal with religion and looking at the book of Matthew and, you know, taking apart the Bible, what is it, how to read the Bible, all those kinds of things. Those are great, and those are much needed. And that will be somewhat a part of this channel, but my channel is going to be something a little bit differently. Okay? What I want this to become, eventually, is a hosting channel for other Christian content creators to be able to kind of all come together collectively to put stuff out. It's going to start with probably me horsepowering the whole thing at first. Take me many years to probably get to where I want to be. But if I don't start now, where will I start? And I know in modern day times, or in a lot of videos that I was watching and advice that give, you know, pick one specific niche, right? Pick one thing. Who do you want to reach? Who's your audience? What do you want to... Well, you know what? I don't really like that. I'm going to be talking about a whole lot of things on here. When it comes to gaming, absolutely. Why? Because I love what I do. Books, current events, Jesus talk, sports talks, all those kinds of things. Because what I've come to realize is Christianity is about everyday life, and Christianity, I need to bring Christianity with me everywhere. And unfortunately, there are so many times that we talk about gaming and TV shows as in why not to watch, why not to be a part, why not to, you know, listen or play or whatever it may be. Oh, one second, my Mac's about to die. I'm gonna plug it in. These are the kind of things we will face while here on this channel. But we can't let the Mac die because then the stream goes bye-bye. So keep listening. Keep hanging in out with me as I plug it in. All right, let's unplug those for a second. Do this. And here we go. We are plugged in. I am back. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay, we are back. All right, so what we're going to be doing is a variety of things. Okay, and what I want, especially, I'm going to go list kind of line by line. Why do I choose gaming? Well, I choose gaming because, one, I like the game. It's what I grew up with. It's one of the things that I've developed a like in. And a lot of times people are like, well, why don't you grow out of that? Why don't you know what? I've tried. I've tried to give it up completely. I've tried to put gaming away. I sold my PS3 way back in the day, sold my gaming laptop, all those kinds of things. But I still kept having a draw towards it. And I had to finally ask myself why. Like, am I not fulfilled in other places? And it had nothing to do with fulfillment. It had nothing to do with needing it. It had everything to do with what at least gaming did for me. That many other things do it as well for me, but gaming was a part of it. It gave me a release. It gave me a place where I could relax, but also be competitive. You see, I grew up in a competitive family, and I have a competitive nature. And so when you put Christianity and competitiveness together, that can look real poor. It cannot come off the right way. I'm a preacher, okay? So a competitive preacher means that I compete with other preachers. I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that. I don't like doing that, and I try not to do that. When I listen to other preachers, I try to just listen, and what can I get out of it? And sometimes I find myself going, ooh, man, if I was preaching that, I'd do this. If I was preaching that, I'd do that. Well, so I need a place where I can vent my competitiveness, can decompress, de-stress, all those kinds of things. And gaming's not the only thing that I do that, by the way. I do a lot of reading. We're going to talk about this book here in a moment, special to me. My brother, Corey, bought this for me. That's why it's sitting here. I like to read. I like to pray. I like to meditate. I like to go out to eat. I like to watch all these kinds of things, but I don't want to have one thing. Life is very complex. Life is about all these things, and giving things up is one way to do it. Give up gaming, give up TV, give up, books, give up all these things. Because can you find garbage in games? Yeah. Can you find garbage in TV shows? Yeah. Can you find garbage in the Bible? Yeah. Depending on what you're defining garbage as. Are you talking about sex? Are you talking about relationships? Are you talking about war? Are you talking about killing? Are you talking about bloodshed? What is your definition? And so part of this channel is going to be for me to work out where my balance is and what games can I play? What games will I play? What games are good for me? What games are not good for me? What games are pushing the boundaries of maybe what Christians should be doing? What games, don't matter? And so what I want to do is bring you along for that ride, your kids along for that ride, your teens along for that ride, and maybe we can all grow together, right? I don't have my live feed set up right now where I can kind of answer questions, or actually I might be able to do that if I see any comments come through. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that later. Or I want to eventually have a live feed where I set up, see comments through, I can discuss things live, talk about things live, bring guests on, and talk about these things. Because one way as parents, we can say, you know what, my kids are not touching a video game. Okay, they will when they get out of the house. They will. Why? Because their friends are doing it. They can resent you for it. And you may say, well, that's just, then they can do it when they get out. And that's one way to parent. Feel free. Do it. By all means. What I want to do is, knowing that people are already watching YouTube streamers and Facebook streamers and Twitch streamers and whatever other platform they're using streamers, is to provide content in that sphere and in that world and in that culture and that community that is Jesus-based, religious-based, and I won't always do it perfectly, okay? You will catch me at times playing a game and something in the game comes up, pops up, that I wish wouldn't be there, wouldn't happen, whatever it may be. Just like me, I just did a whole recording, didn't have my audio set up. I just did a recording, my laptop wasn't plugged in and almost died. I make mistakes. And there are times when I'll be trying out a game and all of a sudden I realize, ooh, I don't want to be playing that game. And I want to have a discussion about that. I want to be able to talk about that. I don't want to feel bad and guilty for me going into something not knowing what it is. And I also don't want to feel bad about something for, let's say I play a game for a while, and then I come to the conclusion, maybe through discussion with you, that you say, you know what, you ought not to be playing that game. And I finally, and be able to apologize, be able to say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have been able to do that. So I want to have those discussions. And so this is going to be a gaming stream, gaming updates, but that's going to be a little bit about it. It's also going to be books. I want to talk about books. I love to read. You're going to find out how much I like to read. You're going to find out how many books that I like to read. A lot of them are religious. That's my job. I read a lot of religious books. If I could turn the camera around, show you my bookshelf, those are ones that I've just kept, that I haven't donated and given off, and ones that are not sitting in one of my elders' basements because I'm working on building a house where I have lots of books there. And then on my Logos, or Logos, however you want to pronounce that, have over 1,000 books and resources. Kindle, I've got over 400 books. Audible, I think I've got 98 books. So I love to read. But not all of them are religious. A lot of them, like this book called Warbreaker, from Brandon Sanderson, who, by the way, is a Mormon, writes this book and this series, and this is going to be kind of our first book that we're going to be discussing, series that we're going to be discussing on this channel. And one of the reasons I like it is because he has built a world. He calls it the Cosmere, where all these individual stories you can read by themselves. Warbreaker, individual book, has a start, has a conclusion. If you know nothing else about all of his other books, you can still read this book, get a good understanding, walk away enjoying it, loving it, and never reading another one of his series again. But what you're going to find in this book are hints at a bigger story, characters that seem out of place, that seem almost not of this world, that belong to another world. And as you read his other books, that becomes more and more apparent. And as you read all of them, not just one of them, you start seeing some of these characters. Wait, isn't that character this character? They seem like the same person. They got one name here, one, okay. And there's kind of this intersection. And to me, just kind of giving you some application for a second, that's kind of Christianity. That's kind of life, right? You don't know how your interactions with people will cross over into the world, right? Cross over into their world and impact them, right? Let's say someone's having a bad day. You see them at the grocery store, right? You see them at, at the corner. You see them wherever you may see them. And you decide to take up a conversation and talk with that person. Say hi. How are you doing? How's your day? And maybe they give you the, I'm doing all right. Or maybe they give you, not the best day, but, I'm making it through. Whatever answer they give. A lot of times, nobody's really wanting to know how you're doing. They're just saying that, to be nice. But if you genuinely ask and you genuinely get interested in them, and you change the course of their day, well, though it's not a different world, and we all live in the same planet, their world has been changed for that day. And you don't know how many people's worlds they're going to infect and they're going to impact by what they're doing. So that's just one way that I want to kind of discuss how reading, opening our minds, reading different things, playing different games, watching different TV shows, if we are not using these things to help our own individual minds grow and expand and to think about, because one of the things I want to be able to do on this channel, and one of the overall goals, I'll give you my underlying, what I really sneaky, what behind all this stuff, what I'm really looking to accomplish. People struggle with talking about their faith. People struggle with talking about Christ and God and their religion. One, because a lot of times the people they're going to talk to don't care about it, don't want to hear about it, don't want to know about it. You know what, though? I know a lot of people who don't like religion, but like this story. I know a lot of people who don't like religion, but like the game that I like to play. And so what I want to be able to do is to take this book and to take my games, take TV shows, sports, whatever it may be, and use it as a platform to build relationships with people, to build understandings with people, to gain interests with people. So the overall goal is to eventually talk to them about my faith. Where, when I do talk to them about my faith, they already have built trust with me, a relationship with me, faith in me, that I'm not just here to take advantage of them. I'm not just here to try to sell them, some cheap trick, whatever it may be. However people view religious people, a lot of our televangelists don't do us any favors by these, get spiritual quick plans, right? Get healed quick plans, drink this holy water, say this special prayer, all these kinds of things. You'll be healed. Me and you never need to have any interaction with each other, but I can save you over a television screen if you say these magic words. Doesn't happen, doesn't work like that. It's not the religion God has set up. It's a farce, okay? So, because I'll tell you, when I'm going to get what very little hair left I have cut, and I'm at the barber shop or I'm at the hair salon, and these people are telling me about their everyday life, the moment I tell them I am a minister or I am a preacher, guess what happens to the conversation? It gets shut down. Why? Because preachers aren't real people, right? Preachers are these people on their soapboxes or on these high elevated platforms that don't know about real life, that don't live real life, and all they're looking for is your money and your sins. It's not true. So there's my soapbox and my platform I was on. I want to show people that as a preacher, I'm an everyday kind of guy, but I've got someone who is guiding my everyday life. And so I can read this book and read this story, but you won't see me watching Game of Thrones or reading Game of Thrones. And that may be a good discussion to have on this. Why don't I choose and once again, my personal convictions are not yours. My personal convictions I don't put on you. And what I want this to be is for me to tease out why I have my personal convictions, bring on people why they have their personal convictions. Maybe they differ. I want someone to get on here and say, you know what, Jesse, you ought not to be reading that book. You ought not to be playing that game. And I want us to have a full-out brawl right here. Not a physical brawl, but a discussion, a talk, where maybe it helps me grow, helps them grow, helps you grow. And so that's kind of what we're going to be doing. Another cool thing that I want to do is bring in my brothers. I'm going to call it the Jedi Council, because my brothers, we all like a similar line of things, but with branches off. Games, similar kind of games, most of us, but they cross. But we also have our games that, like, you play that game, I would never play that game. I play this game, they'd never play that game, right? I have a book I'm reading, they'd never read it. They have a book, I'd never, so we have our own spaces, and I want us to be able to have discussions, and you to be able to hear those discussions and have these discussions, and just make this a place where Christians can look like real life, everyday people, but with a perfect, holy, and righteous God who dictates our life, guides our life, drives our life, gives us the motivation for why we do things, why we don't do things. And so when you hear some Christian saying, you know what, I'm not watching Game of Thrones, it's not them saying, well, I don't, and you shouldn't. I'm better than you. I'm more righteous. Yeah, we're going to leave all that stuff out. What you're going to hear are real explanations, real reasons why. I'm going to have stats to back it up, what these kinds of things do to kids and our minds, and more than just the religious sphere, and show that a lot of times when God tells us something, it's for our benefit. It's not just because God wants to tell you no. It's not just because God is a big old meanie who wants to take away all your fun. I want to show you you can have fun. You can watch TV. You can play games. You can read books. You can do all these things, but just have a Christian filter we put things through. And my filter may be different than your filter, different than other people's filter, all those kinds of things. But that's the future of this channel. There will be streaming. I will be gaming. And I want to know what games you want me to play. Some I may be hesitant to play. Some I may just say, no way, Jose. And some I may say, that's too expensive. I don't pay for games. A lot of my games are free. A lot of my games are cheap. A lot of my games, if they have in-app purchases, that you have to have in-app purchases, to excel or to grow or to level up, count me out. Why? Because my money is limited, and I don't want to play games that also consume other things in my life. Okay? So, that's kind of the introduction that I have. We're going to be drinking lots of coffee on here. I hope to have a lot of guests on here. And there will be religious talks, okay? There will be but I have another channel, Lenore City Church of Christ channel. That's where I'm a minister, a preaching channel, where I have a lot of daily Bible readings, sermons, all those kinds of things. That's going to be more for the theology aspect. There may be some fun theology, but as it relates to everyday life, have some people on where we can tease some things out. There are some things that I would like to, on my own channel, tease out that I want to separate and remove myself maybe from the other channel. It's going to be my channel. And I'm going to invite a lot of people to this channel. And there's going to be a lot of different, unique, different takes in this channel. And you may not like it, and that's okay. So hopefully this can be a space where it can be entertaining and fun, but educational, religious. You can grow, I can grow, and we can have fun while doing it. So I appreciate you listening. Be looking forward to, please like, share, comment, all that kind of thing. If you hit the heart reaction, that actually does better than the like reaction. If you don't love it, right? If you don't like it, don't like it. If you want to put the thumbs down, put the thumbs down. Is there a thumbs down? All right. Dislike, I think they removed that from YouTube. Do however you want to do it. But this is going to be a place where hopefully real Christians do real things. We grow into better sons of Issachars in our everyday life. Please join the family. And love you. Have